Hello YouTube, Dave here again. I am back with another new game stuff video. So these are some items that I've picked up myself over the last few weeks, or some items that I've had sent to me for the purposes of doing future review videos. And I really enjoy doing these types of videos. I've had people ask about them, or I know that there are people that really like seeing like pickup type videos. And like I said, they're fun to do, and for some of these products, it may be a little bit before I can actually get to doing the proper review for it. So if nothing else, it shows that they're out there, that they're available, and if you're interested in the product, you can pick it up hopefully at your local game store or wherever you get your RPG supplies. I'm gonna be honest, the last few days haven't been the easiest. I don't want to get too into it, but essentially there's been some kind of like bad news family wise, that just like it's it's made it difficult to focus on being able to put together a video. Like I've tried to sit down and like read some stuff, to be able to do like reviews on some of the books that were sent, and I just can't quite like get mentally there right now. I think everything's going to be fine. It's just, it was just a lot of information, kind of all at once. So, I'm going to get back into the swing of things within the next week or so. I just need a little time to sort of process everything, and like I said, I think everything's going to be fine. It's just, a matter of like, life being, what it is. It's and life happens. So, anyway, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get too much into that, but I just kind of wanted to explain why I just haven't really been doing much. I'm still like doing my Twitch streams. They kind of like help take my mind off things. I don't have to prepare much for them. I can just sort of get into it, and I'm just like in the moment sort of thing. But I still want to at least try to get something out this week. So this is the video that I'm going to go with, and then if things um, if mentally things are a little bit, better for me, then I'll try to get some other stuff out as well. All right, so let's just get right into this, shall we? So we got some pickups here. The first few things I'm going to show are items that I actually picked up myself. The first one actually ties into me mentioning, the Twitch stuff, because I picked up Resident Evil Village. So over the last few weeks, I've been doing some Resident Evil, live streams or whatever over on Twitch. I did Resident Evil 2 Remake with Leon. I did a legit playthrough, and I say legit, but I did a playthrough, like a proper playthrough of that one. The following week after I completed that one, in a single night, I completed the Claire A storyline. But I was like, I did a poll, and I was able, and one of the options was for like the unlimited ammo weapons, and people voted for that, so I was able to do that. And the last couple weeks I've been running Resident Evil 0. My plan is to actually go through the series, because I have 0, 1, 2 Remake, 3 Remake. I have Code Veronica, although that one I probably won't do. I've got Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, 7, and now Village. And really enjoyed Village. I played Village and Resident Evil 7, and I've beaten both of those games, and personally, I much prefer Village over 7. I think 7 was, a fine game. I found that the story was ultimately, like, the only purpose of the story was to set up the events of this game, and it was, I don't know, it was kind of weird. Like, I saw a speedrunner refer to 7 as the most unnecessary game in the Resident Evil timeline, because if Ethan never, like, if Ethan never went to Louisiana, nothing would have changed, right? Because the Chris Redfield and Blue Umbrella were already on top of the situation, and they would have, dealt with everything. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. I'll save that for when the streams come. But anyway, I picked this up. It was on sale. Normally in Canada, or at least Nova Scotia, Xbox Series X games are like $79.99 plus tax. This was on sale for $49.99 plus tax. So it was a game that I really wanted. It was on for a decent sale. It was an absolute no-brainer. All right, up next is something I actually picked up from DM's Guild, or Drive-Thru RPG. They're both the same company. They're just different branches of the same thing. But this was something that I've wanted to have for a long time now, and I always regretted not picking it up at the time that it was out in print and like actually commercially available. But recently they put it up on their print on demand section. So that is a copy of the D20 Modern role-playing game. So this was during the 3.0 era. but it definitely laid the groundwork for 3.5. You can see some of the concepts and the way that some feats and spells were retweaked that sort of show the transition from 3.0 to 3.5, along with their D20 Star Wars. Like, you really got to see with the D20 Star Wars, and because the original version was like 3.0, and then they did a revised edition that was closer to 3.5. But really cool idea. It's I don't know a whole lot about it. I played it, I think, once, and I really enjoyed it. But you have your 6 basic classes, and they're each tied to one of these specific attributes. So you can have like a strong hero, an agile hero, a tough hero, right? So you sort of have those. I think they only go up to like 10 levels, and then you have more advanced classes that you can take as you like progress through like the base classes. And those are things like, you can play like a wizard type character and stuff like that. It's just a really interesting concept. And for stuff like modern age, for example, using the age system, the 3d6, like this is sort of like a precursor to that. So it takes an existing fantasy RPG rule set and puts it in a more modern setting, same way that the modern age does for Green Ronin and the age system. But really cool stuff. It was something, like I said, I've wanted to get for a while. It was on DM's Guild, so I had to snatch it up as soon as I saw it there. Another thing that I had to get the moment I saw it was the Nolsar's Marvelous Miniatures Death Tyrant Paint Kit. So in the last pickup video that I did, I actually shown that I picked up the Death Tyrant Standalone Mini. But as a collector, I like to leave some of these things sealed. It's just, like I said, it's just the collector side of me. It is what it is. But when I saw this paint kit, like, I really loved the idea of the paint kits. I just wasn't huge on the selection of minis that they had so far. Like, the first one was for the Red Sled, which, the second one was for the Dire Troll, which, is all right, but it's just not one of my favorite things. But this is an actual Beholder mini. Beholders are my favorite monsters all time, and just really, really cool. It comes with 12 paints that you can use for painting this miniature. Comes with brushes, and there's a thing you can go to here, which will actually allow you to see like a step-by-step tutorial video if you want to follow along with a professional. It's going to be one of these days. It's going to be fun to do this when I get the time to do so. But really, really cool stuff. All right, the last thing I'm going to show here, as far as what I've picked up myself, what I spent my own money on, is a Starfinder adventure, The Liberation of Locust 1. So this is a standalone adventure for the Starfinder role-playing game, and 2021 is the first time that we've actually had standalone Starfinder adventures, at least through like commercial retail. So this is sort of it's standalone, but it also follows up from the events of the last adventure, or the very first standalone adventure that Paizo put out for Starfinder. I believe it's called Junker's Delight. I don't currently own it, but it is definitely on my to-get list. Hopefully I'll, pick that up sometime between now and, the end of the holidays or something. But yeah, I'm really excited for these standalone adventures. I'm a huge fan of them. And I'm going to talk a bit more about standalone adventures a little bit later. But this was one that, again, I was looking really forward to. My local game store had it. They set it aside for me, and I went and picked it up. All right. Up next, we have everything I'm going to show from here until the end of the video were items that were sent to me by Paizo for review purposes. So I really want to thank them for sending this out to me. I apologize if it's going to take a little while to get through everything here. But I really do appreciate it. And if nothing else, like I said, with these videos, what I can do is show that these products are out there, raise awareness of them, and if you're interested in them, then you can check them out at your local game store. So the first one here is another adventure, but this is part 2 of the Horizons of the Vast adventure path. This is called Serpents in the Cradle. So the Horizons of the Vast is an adventure path that sort of takes advantage of the Galaxy Exploration Manual and sort of takes place outside of like the Pact Worlds or like the Veskarium, sort of takes place outside of those. The first adventure had the players being part of this like colonizing force that was trying to make the planet safe for the colonists. I'm really interested to see what this adventure has in store. But when it comes to adventure paths, what my plan is, at least for the time being, is I'm going to wait until I get the entire adventure path all together. So if it's a 3-part adventure path or 6-part adventure path, I'd kind of like to wait until I have each and every installment before I do the review video for it. That said, one of the things that I want to do is kind of resurrect my Facebook page, which I really haven't done anything with for quite a while. I want to say, like, shortly after the pandemic started, I just kind of just lost the energy to do it, to maintain it, but I want to sort of pick that back up. And one of the things that I'd like to do with that is just have little teasers or little like early impression stuff, just like a short blurb about, you know, the individual products, like the individual chapters of the adventure paths, and maybe throw a couple pictures up there to show like some creatures or you know, just something, you know, that I can do like a little write-up on, and just sort of have that to sort of tie things over until I can do the path as a whole, because I like to see sort of how everything shapes up. So that's my plan going forward, at least for this adventure path and the current Pathfinder one. Again, we'll see how things shape up, you know, over the course of the next, you know, month or 2 months or whatever, and we'll sort of see, you know, from there. But at least for now, that's sort of my plan. But this is the part 2, like I said, part 2 of 6 for the Horizons of the Vast adventure path. All right, we got a couple of, we got 3 Starfinder accessories that we're going to look at here next. The first one is the Alien Planet Ruins expansion. So a little while ago, I did a review video for the Starfinder Alien Planet starter set, and I did like a little mini map showing the stuff that you can sort of make with this. So this will be a video that I will be recording probably within the next week or so. And I plan to do the same thing, make a map or 2 showing, you know, what you could do with the expansion cards that come in this set. So the starter sets are kind of like the more bland or generic tiles that you use to sort of fill things out. But these expansions have much more of a stronger theme to them that you can use to really flesh things out. And I love these products. The flip tiles are fantastic, and they're very quickly becoming like one of my favorite all-time accessories. I think they're great. They're awesome, especially if you have like a small playing surface, but you still want to use minis for combat. These things are great because you could just lay out, you know, a couple of cards and or a couple of the tiles and go from there. So these things are awesome. And yeah, if you're into Starfinder, definitely recommend checking this out at your local game store. Along the same lines of the flip tiles, but a little bit on a larger scale, we have the Starfinder flip mat for the Space Colony. Flip mats, again, are fantastic. One of my favorite Starfinder-related memories was just creating an adventure kind of on the spot. Using one of the flip mats that I saw. I just loved, you know, just looked at the map. I instantly got inspiration for an adventure, and we ended up running it like that same day. It was awesome. I loved it. I think these things are great for that, and I definitely recommend checking these out as well. On one side, you've got a colony sort of on a planet with vegetation. So sort of more like an Earth-like planet. So you've got like a breathable atmosphere and everything on one side. The other side, it has what looks like a module for perhaps a larger base or larger colony on something like an asteroid or a moon or something like that, where it's barren and there's no atmosphere. So you kind of have this like dome here. You've got like the corridors that can go to another dome, like another section, but just really, really cool stuff. And I love these maps. So like, again, you know, I definitely recommend checking those out. All right, the last Starfinder related product we have here is the Tech Revolution Pawn Collection. And I've been waiting for this to come in because I want to do the review video for the Tech Revolution, like just basically like the product line. I've done like product showcases for some of the Pathfinder stuff in the past, and I'd kind of like to do that with some of these Starfinder products. So I have the book, and I was just waiting for the Pawn Collection to come out so that I can essentially just do a video with showing both of those things at the same time. But the Pawn Collections, again, are awesome because, you know, for $25 US, you get over 100 of these like cardboard stand-ups that you can use. It's basically an instant mini collection of a really decent size. I think these things are great. They're tied specifically to, obviously, the Tech Revolution book. So you've got creatures, different like classes and race combinations. You've got vehicles. You've got huge mechs, gargantuan mechs, and even colossal mechs. So that'll be kind of cool to see how they sort of pull that off. I assume it'll probably be still like the large, like the medium, large, and huge size pawns. Because obviously things are scaled differently when it comes to like mechs and versus individual characters, but it'll still be cool to see, and I will have that video out very, very shortly as well. This will probably be the first book review that I do in the next week or so. All right, so that was the Starfinder stuff. So moving on to Pathfinder, the first things that we have here, we have some Pathfinder adventures. So we got installments 3 and 4 of the Strength of Thousands adventure path. So last month I received books number 1 and 2, and now I've got 3 and 4. Book 5 is already on its way. I got the email saying that it was shipped out just a day or so ago. And the 6th and final installment comes out in December, early December, so I should have that relatively soon as well. So again, my plan is to, once I get all 6 installments of the adventure path, then I will be doing a review of the path as a whole, to sort of give you my thoughts on the entirety of the adventure path, and instead of just like doing chapter by chapter. I could always break them down later on, depending. Like I know I've wanted to do stuff like that in the past, but it's just things are starting to get really busy with things coming in, and it's kind of hard to go back for some of these things. So my plan right now is to when I get all 6 adventure path installments, do the review for the path as a whole. But I'm looking forward to that because this looks like a very interesting adventure path. All right, up next, another Pathfinder adventure. This is one of their standalone adventures. This is Night of the Grey Death. Now, not only do they have the adventure, but for the Pathfinder standalone adventures, they also include a flip mat that you can pick up that gives you a couple of the more significant locations from the adventure itself. Now, again, I haven't had a chance to read this. I've only had these for a couple of days at this point, or a few days. But the standalone adventures for Pathfinder, I've been really, really impressed with. I love the fact that they get very creative, and like they have like these really cool ideas that might be difficult to sustain for an entire adventure path, but for a single module, it makes for a great story. And this one looks like it's going to be the same way. It's also designed for 16th level characters, so it's nice to get some nice high level adventures in here as well. And you also have the flip mat you can use if you are running the adventure. So just great stuff there. Again, if you're interested in the Pathfinder adventures, the flip mat, all that stuff, you should be able to check it out at your local game store. Up next, we have a Pathfinder tile set. So this is the Fortress Walls and Towers expansion. So in the last video, last pickup video or new game stuff video that I did, I sort of had shown you some of the stuff that came with the Pathfinder Flip Tiles Fortress Starter Set. And so like the starter set, like I said before, they're kind of your generic tiles that you can use to, really fill out a map. But these expansions are more specifically themed. So here you have like the walls and towers, so you could sort of really expand what you've got there. What's also really cool about it is the walls. Like, so with the starter set, you had some like outer walls, but they only had like a single 1-inch square row of like grass tiles to show like the ground at the bottom of the wall. But with these ones here, you can see that a lot of the wall ones are more centered, so you get a little bit more space on either side. So if you're like scaling the walls, you have a little bit more room to work with there. There's just like a courtyard tile here in the display. You've got just, again, really, really awesome stuff. I can't wait to crack this open and put together a couple of maps. Again, I love it, and I can't wait to do it, because those are awesome. The flip tiles, like I said, I think they're like, if they're not my favorite accessory, they're very, very close to it. All right, last 2 items here that we have, both books for Pathfinder 2nd edition. The first one is the Pathfinder Lost Omens Grand Bazaar. So this is essentially, I think it's just like a huge marketplace that you could have So it says, a turn of the corner on a city street reveals a marketplace where almost anything can be found. Peruse the stalls of the Grand Bazaar as your characters examine both mundane and marvelous. So this, again, I love the Lost Omens collection of books. They're great world building, books that help really flesh out the setting. But they're also super useful if you're running homebrew, because, like, again, there's all kinds of charts, there's all kinds of stuff here that you can use to sort of flesh out like a marketplace type of setting, and I think it's really, really cool. I haven't been able to read too much of the book yet, but again, I'll be putting out a review for this hopefully very, very shortly. So awesome stuff there. All right, and the last one that we have is an expansion to the core rule set, I guess you could say. This is the Pathfinder Guns and Gears book. So a couple months ago, they put out their Secrets of Magic book. I loved that book. I thought it was really, really great. And this is sort of along these same lines. It's sort of like a new set of, like, equipment, or new, like, sort of exotic classes that you can have in your game. There's an adventurer that you can have in here, as well as a gunslinger, which I know the gunslinger class was kind of popular with Pathfinder First Edition. So now we have it updated for Pathfinder 2e. And I think overall, like I said, I haven't had a chance to read too much of it yet. I've just sort of like perused it. But what I've seen so far is honestly really interesting. And that's coming from someone who's not a huge fan of, like, steampunk or gunslinging necessarily in my medieval fantasy RPGs. But I have to say, at least so far, I'm definitely intrigued by what they have in here. I think it's really, really cool stuff. So again, all this stuff is available now at your local game store. So if you're interested in any of these, definitely contact your store owner, or look wherever you get your RPG products, because there's some really, really great stuff out there. So again, I really want to thank Paizo for sending this stuff out to me. I really appreciate it. I apologize for the delay on some of these. Like I said, unfortunately, it's just a serious situation where there's just some pretty serious life stuff going on. But we'll get to the point where I can start pumping these out, because I mean, there's awesome stuff here. I'm really excited about all of it. It's just a matter of having the mental focus to put the review videos out. But I'm going to try my best to start getting these videos out again starting next week. So I want to thank everyone for their patience and their understanding. It really does mean a lot to me. And we'll try to get back on track here very, very shortly. Another video series that I want to start doing, again, it should be a relatively simple one to do. And it's actually inspired by a friend of mine that I've been conversing with for months now, actually, back and forth on Facebook. I'm on the spot now, and I'm really sorry if I get this wrong, but I think his YouTube channel is... it's either D20 Gamer or Gamer D20 or something along those lines. I'll try to include a link in the description below. But he's a really, really nice guy, and he's starting, his YouTube channel. And he's had some really, interesting videos talking about, like, some of his top, favorite books, or like favorite books from different editions. And it kind of, makes me want to do something similar. I honestly thought I already had, but I went back and looked, did searches through my video catalog, and I really haven't yet. So starting again, hopefully next week, I'm going to start putting videos out for my top 5 favorite books from various RPG editions, collections, what have you. So we're looking at D&D, like starting with first edition, because with 0 edition, there's only 6 books. So if I do my top 5, it's basically which one do I leave out. But with first edition, so I'll probably start with first edition, second, 3.0, 3.5, fourth, fifth, and even stuff like Forgotten Realms, Eberron, like campaign setting stuff. I'll try to throw that in there as well. So I'll be putting out some of those lists because I think it'll be fun to do. So anyway, again, I really want to thank everyone for their support, for the time that they take out of their days to watch me ramble, I guess. But it really does mean a lot to me. And I know I say that, frequently, but it really does. And I don't want to understate, like, how important that is to me. So thank you, everyone. Let me know in the comments below, what are some of your most recent pickups, some cool stuff that you found. It doesn't have to be related to RPGs. It can be anything that you love collecting, or just any cool stuff that you picked up over the last little while. let me know in the comments below. And if you've picked up any of the products that I've shown here already, what are some of your thoughts on those? Have you picked up the Gears and Guns or Guns and Gears book and made characters or anything or encounters using stuff from there? Have you used the Grand Bazaar? Are you running the adventure paths? Did you play D20 Modern back in the day? Let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys very, very much. It means the world to me, and I will see you all next time. Take care.